Hi everyone, it's Meredith, and today I am going to teach you guys how to get ready for the games. So obviously there's not one way to do this, but this is just how I do my hair and makeup for the games and for contests. Obviously if you do it a different way, that's fine, but this is just what works for me and what I would recommend. So first I wanted to share with you guys kind of how I organize all my stuff. This thing has saved my life. If you go on Amazon and just look up clear jewelry organizer case, something along those lines, it should pop up. Very inexpensive, bigs. It's a great gift for your littles, hint hint. But inside it's clear, so you can see I keep like wipes, bobby pins, hat clips, hairnet, bun maker even fits in there, my lipstick, earrings, hairspray, hair ties, all kinds of stuff, and it fits really nicely in my Brigade backpack to bring to games, so that's great. Also, something really helpful is a caboodle. That's what this is called. You can buy them at Target, you can buy them on Amazon, really whatever, and basically it just all kind of unfolds and you can keep a lot of stuff in here. This is a mini one, but the big ones fit literally everything and they're great. I would also highly recommend buying one of those just to keep all of your stuff organized. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the makeup. I do my makeup first. Some people do their hair first. It's really whatever works for you, but this is just what I do. So I recommend the Benefit Pore Professional for primer. I also use this e.l.f. one, and I also sometimes use this Tarte one. It really just depends, and it doesn't really matter, but primer is super important to have on because we are sweating, we're wearing our makeup for hours and hours and hours, and we're dancing and there's wind and there's rain, so you really just want to make sure that you have something that's going to keep your makeup on your face. That's the bottom line. Okay, so now for foundation. I normally use the Fenty Beauty. Another good foundation is this Tarte Amazonian Clay. So is the Tarte Shape Tape. Maybelline Fit Me foundation is also good. Really anything that works for your skin. You just want it to be as full coverage as possible because you just want to be completely like one color. Ooh, okay, kind of look like a ghost, but I just blended in all of my foundation-ish with a beauty blender. Some people use a brush, but I prefer the beauty blender, so it's really whatever works for you. Next is concealer. I sometimes use this Maybelline Superstay or the Fenty Beauty one. This one is really full coverage, and so is the NARS concealer and the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, and the Maybelline Fit Me concealer is also really good. So again, it's whatever works for you, but I'll show you how I put it on. Okay, so I put it on top of my eyes and under my eyes and on my forehead, and then just wherever I have acne, which is everywhere. So that's fun. So now I'm just gonna blend that in with my beauty blender. Now it's time for powder. I use the Coty Airspun powder. It's $6. I've had this huge thing for like 3 years and there's still a lot in there and it works perfectly for me. So I recommend that one. If you want a loose powder, if you want a pressed powder, I do recommend the Maybelline Fit Me or whatever else works for you. So I put this on pretty much everywhere because it presses down my concealer and my foundation, and literally if you press this on your face with a beauty blender, the foundation and concealer is not gonna move. Okay, so there's that. This also helps a lot if you have oily skin or if you're gonna be sweating, which you are. You have to have powder on your face or else your makeup is literally going to melt off. So there's that. Okay, press that on. Then I go in with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is a pressed one and it's like matches my skin tone, which is great because then it just like all kind of blends together. It's super important that you have powder on your face, powder of some sort, just so that you don't sweat or melt your makeup off. And if you have really oily skin like I do, you have to be wearing powder. Or if you don't, because you're gonna sweat no matter who you are. So powder is important. Okay, now it's time for eyeshadow. Some people do contour and blush first, whatever. I do eyeshadow first just because it works for me. I use the Jaclyn Hill palette. This one was actually not a bad price for all of the colors in it, even though I only use like these two. But really literally any palette with a black and a gray and a brown type shade will do, as long as you have a black. So first I go in with like this big blending brush and I take these light browns just to get a base going. You won't see them in the end, I promise, but just to get a base going. Okay, so here's where we're at. I literally just do windshield wiper motions back and forth. Also, I forgot to mention, it is super important to make sure that you have concealer and powder on your eyelids, because you do not want your eyeshadow to fade. You want it to stick to your eyes and stay there forever. So really make sure that you have something down and not just your bare skin receiving eyeshadow. Okay, then I take this brush with a really dark like gray brown and I just put it like kind of all over. You know, I just blend. Okay, here's where we're at now, if you can see. I also put some below my lash line. It looks kind of crazy now, but I promise it's coming together. Next, I take like this smaller brush and we just go all in with the black. I look like a raccoon, and that's okay. This is how it's supposed to look. You really just want it to be black everywhere. Like no browns left behind. I just put the grays and browns down before to make it easier to blend out. Then I'm taking this like silver glitter shade on my finger and I just put it on my eyelid like this. I literally just wipe it across my eyelid with my finger, if y'all can see that. Okay, I don't know if you guys can tell on the camera, but there's glitter on my eyes. So now you want to take more black and just blend it in. Like, you never have enough black, and in roll call lines, if your dance officer thinks that you don't have enough black, she will make you put more on, or better yet, she'll do it for you. And I'm telling you right now, you don't want the officers doing your makeup in roll call. Okay, lastly, I'm taking like a highlighter shade and just putting that in the inner corner, and I can kind of like blend it out with my finger. And that's gonna really help your eyes pop. Even though you can't really tell on camera, it's hard to tell. All right, next up is eyeliner. I just have this like felt tip looking one, and I normally do just like a straight across. There's eyeliner on my eye. I don't know if you can tell, but any black eyeliner will work. It does not have to be fancy, it does not have to be winged. Just get it on your eye. It's going to help when you put your lashes on. It's gonna help them just look like they're closer to your real lashes. Okay, so that brings us to mascara. I use the L'Oreal Telescopic, or I use the Maybelline Lash Sensational. Y'all know what's good. You all pretty much wear mascara on the daily, so really just use whatever you have, but this one is my current favorite. I curl my lashes first because that helps them blend in better with the fake lashes. Now we put on lashes. If you've never done this before, it can be kind of scary, but I promise you'll get the hang of it. These are the Ardell Wispies. They are the cheapest and they're the absolute best. Also, I rewear mine 1 or 2 times. Some people trash them after 1 time, but anyways, so I use clear lash glue. This is the Duo lash glue. Always works pretty well for me. A lot of people also use the black lash glue. It just depends. I'm a mess and the black lash glue ends up all over my face. So I take this, it's a little flat. Some of them have a brush. You literally just brush it across the little band. And then some people use tweezers. I just use my fingers. And I literally just place it, I need the mirror. I place it in the center. So like I hold it in the center and I place it in the center. And then I take the ends and I put this end in my inner corner. The other end goes in my outer corner, I guess. Just like as close to your lashes as you can possibly get. And that's what it looks like. But then once it dries a little bit more, I like to push them together like this. So like I clamp with my fingers my real lashes and my fake lashes. This is so gross that you guys are watching me do this, but I promise it works pretty well. So okay, next I use the Glossier Boy Brow for my eyebrows. There's a Sephora one also that is also waterproof, and just like this one, it works really well. Some people use a pomade, a powder, a pencil, whatever works for you, as long as your eyebrows can be seen, because you don't want to look like you have no eyebrows. That's just weird. Okay, now it's time for contour, bronzer, blush, all of that. So I use the Physicians Formula butter bronzer. It's great. It's super cheap from the drugstore, and I literally I like to think of a line from the top of my ear to like right in between my nose and mouth, and I literally like kind of sketch out that line and then just like blend around, if that makes sense. See? Obviously with a mask on, you're not going to be able to tell that you're super contoured. You won't even need to worry about that, but this is mostly for contest. You're going to want your whole face contoured. You're going to want some shape to your face. You don't just want to look like a ghost. So that's pretty important. Next, I go in with blush. You really just want the brightest blush you can possibly find. The Essence blush is super cheap. It's great. The Maybelline Fit Me blush is great. Morphe blush is great. But this one is from MAC. This is what I had to use when I did competition dancing. It's literally just like a super bright pink, and you want to literally look like a clown. Like, you want so much blush. Literally, it goes everywhere, like all over your cheeks. I put it on my nose, I put it on my forehead. You want to be able to tell that you have a lot of blush on. It's not supposed to look natural. Because we're wearing masks at the football games, we really don't need to do all the face makeup. Really just like some foundation, concealer, eyebrows, eyeshadow. But I'm just doing this anyways, so you know, for future reference. Okay, this is the completed makeup look, by the way. I just put my lipstick on. This is the Maybelline New York Superstay Matte Ink. This is great. It's matte. It's maroon. This is in the shade Founder. The shade Composer is also great. But I have found that this is really the only lipstick that never comes off of me. And a lot of girls on Brigade use this one. It's great. So I would highly recommend this.
Wow, here's the finished look. Yay, so good.
Now it's time for hair. This year we're doing a left part, so part over your heart, which is on your left side. It's probably different for y'all watching this video, but you literally want to part it right over your eye. If you don't have one of these, get one. They're super cheap, literally at every store. You're gonna need it. So if this is not your natural part, or if it is, you want it all in the same place. So over your eye, so like, see my pupil right there, literally the center of my eye, and I'm gonna just go straight up and straight back with this. And boom, there's my part. Okay, I look kind of crazy, but now what I do is I take this spray bottle of water, which I've found to be extremely helpful. And I literally spray all under here too, because I'm about to brush this all back into my bun. But I kind of like start slicking that all down with the water. And then I take my comb, and you want to take this hair and like swoop it back, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to brush it straight back. You kind of want to swoop it down the side of your face and scrape it back into your pony. Okay, I've sprayed more water and really just slicked everything back. So now what I do is I take a hair gel, and this is like a nice little mini one, which is perfect, I think. And I take that just in my hands, like a lot of it, and then put that just on my head. And you definitely want it here behind your ears the most, because we do on Brigade have a no wispy policy. What is that? Anyways, we do have a no wispy policy. If you didn't know, if you have wispies on your head, it's not gonna be a fun day for you. That's all I'm saying. So now we're gonna make our bun, now that this is all complete. You take your bun maker, your donut, whatever, kind of put it around your ponytail, and then you take your hair. I have to lean over. I don't know if y'all can see what's happening, but you kind of just waterfall it all the way over, if you can see that. Then I take a hair tie and I just put it right over, wrap it around. Now it looks like that. Great. So now I'm going to take this excess hair and I twist it all the way around. And I just keep twisting and twisting. If you have super long hair, that's just what you have to do. Then you're gonna need about, oh, that's kind of gross. You're gonna need about 10,000 bobby pins, and you just wanna pin everything in place. All right, that's all pinned in place. Now you take your hairnet. You wanna make sure that your hairnet matches your hair color. This one's kind of a blondish, brownish one. If you have blonde hair, please do not put a black hairnet in your head. And same vice versa, if you have dark hair, do not put a blonde hairnet in your head. It looks crazy. Okay, I've pinned that all in. My head is hard from the gel. And then we've got to finish it all off with some hairspray. So I always get the bun in there and literally just go all the way around. You can never have enough hairspray. So literally just go ham with your hairspray. Okay, next I put my earrings in. This is what my earrings look like. They're pretty big. That's what it looks like on. So you really just want some earrings that are big with diamonds and lots of sparkles. That's the main point. So now what I'm going to do is show you guys how I put my hat on with hat clips. Okay, this is my hat from last year because I don't want to get makeup all over my brand new one. You have to make sure, first of all, that your bun is going to be low enough, because if not, then your hat is going to like sit on top of your bun. I cut this side of the string just because you're bringing it up to this side, so if your strings are really long, cutting them is okay, I think. So this is called the flower. You want to make sure that both of your strings are going through here, and then you're going to pull them tight, and I mean super tight, like until you can barely open your mouth and speak. It's going under your chin like that, and then I tie it in a double knot, emphasis on double. You want it to be tight, so like that's how tight it is. Then you take your excess string and I kind of fold it up and then stick it up in your hat. You might have to like shove your fingers up there a little bit, but it's kind of difficult to figure out where you can have it without it like stabbing your brain, but that's what that looks like. It's kind of like right on top of your ear, and it's always on your left. So you always want to make sure that your flower is up on your left side. Then I take my hat clips. These are what my hat clips look like. They're like little barrette things. You can look them up if you search like women's hair clips, basically. So what you do with these is you stick it through like under your hair and around your strings and just clip it on like so. So you just clip it like that. It's very secure. Like that's not really gonna on this side, which is kind of a mess. You want to get all three of those strings in there. So the one that's going in your hat and then the two that you like kind of tucked up. You want to make sure that you get all of those just so that they don't like fall out of your hat and like start swinging around. Just really try to clip it as tight as you can. These clips are kind of difficult, but the good thing about them is that they're super tight. And that is it. All right, guys, so now from the neck up, I'm game day ready. And just here are some things that your officers are going to check for in roll call before every game. You have to have 2 earrings, 2 hat clips, a flower in your hat. Your hat string has to be tucked under your hat band, if you can see that. You have to have 2 eyelashes on. You have to have dark blush. You have to have black eyeshadow, and you have to have maroon lipstick. You also must have a hairnet that hopefully matches your hair. You've got to have bobby pins in there, and you have to have a bun maker, whether it's the kind that you clip in and roll up, or if it's the donut kind, which I think works best. And then one more thing that I do to myself just to check that nothing's going to fall off of me is the shake test. You just shake your head, and if it's secure, then you're good. Okay, so that is pretty much it. I hope that this was useful for you. I hope that you maybe even learned something from me, hopefully. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to ask them in your company group chat. There are returners and officers in there who would love to answer them and love to help you out. Also, we'll be there while you're actually getting ready for the games. So if you need help in the moment, we will be there to help you. There's always someone who has an answer to your question. Just remember that. I'm sorry that you had to watch this whole thing and listen to my voice for so long, but I do really hope that this was useful to you guys. And yeah, it's midnight, so I'm gonna go to bed. Not looking like this. But video's over. Goodbye. Like and subscribe.